Station. This is Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. How do you hear me?
RPI, I hear you loud and clear. Welcome to the International Space Station.
And liftoff. Liftoff of Reid Wiseman, Max Sarayev, and Alexander Gerst. TMA 11M carrying Mikhail Turin, Rick Mastracchio, and Koichi Wakata now separated from the International Space Station.
It's amazing. You spend your whole life trying to get off the Earth, it seems like, and then as soon as you get into low Earth orbit, the first thing you do is turn around and look back at the Earth and see how beautiful it was.
Reid, this is Rensselaer. How do you hear us?
Hey, I've got you loud and clear. How do you have me?
Reid, this is Jeff Shantz at RPI. We're really honored to be with you here today. And we see you, and we love your shirt. And we are here at the Experimental Media and Performing Arts Center, MPAC, with about 500 or 600 of your closest friends. And we want to give you an opportunity to say hello and greet us all here. And then I have a very special first question for you.
Okay, well, what an honor for me to be up here 260 miles up and be able to talk to my old university there, RPI. It is really, it's just a great day for me up here. Hopefully you don't get too much feedback off the mic. If you do, we'll have to change it. You know, we are absolutely busting it up here right now with science. And we just did a spacewalk a few days ago, so it's super busy, but there's always time to just kick back and have a little fun. And if it's Friday evening and I get to talk to RPI, well, then that's a great start to the weekend.
Reid, we have a very special person here. That's our 18th president, Dr. Shirley Ann Jackson, and she'd like to ask you our first question, okay?
Absolutely. Let me start with Go Red, and then ready for the question.
Hi, Reid. This is Shirley Jackson. Let me just say, we are so proud of you, and thank you for doing this.
Let me respond briefly with how proud I am to have come from RPI and the roots that they laid down for me, and it's honestly, it's my honor to talk to you tonight.
Well, in fact, you have spoken very graciously about the many gifts you have had in your career, and that you owe many of them to the education, the life education, that you received here at RPI. Can you tell us a little bit about your time here, and how does it relate to what you're doing now?
Wow, so when you head off to college, you're just a kid, and you're leaving, for most of us, at least for me, I was pretty sheltered, leaving my parents for the first time and heading up to RPI, and my dorm room was up at Bar H, which was way up at the top of the hill, and originally I thought that was a great thing, and then I met the Winters in Troy, New York, and I realized that maybe the quad or the E-dorm would have been a better place to live that freshman year. But really, what RPI gave me was just that foundation, and that's what the undergraduates are getting there right now, whether they know it or not. They're getting an amazing education, but then on the other side, I think equally important, they're getting a foundation in life skills, how to take care of yourself, how to manage yourself, your friends, your family, your free time, your work time. And really, time management, self-management, and then knowledge is what RPI gave me, and those are the keys to a great future. All of my friends from RPI have been incredibly successful, so it's just a testament to the school and what you all are doing up there. It's fantastic.
Well, thank you so much. You said, let's go Red. I say, let's go Reid. Thank you.
And they're going to ask you a question in order, and we're going to start with the great class of 1979.
Oh, good afternoon, Reid. This is truly an honor for us to speak with you this afternoon. I'm from the class of 79. My name is Janice Mahan. This seems to be a dream come true. So when you were a freshman at RPI, was this already your dream? How did it come about, and how did you make it happen?
Oh, when I was a freshman at RPI, I think I just wanted to pass calculus and do well in my physics lab experiment. To me, that was the thing that was closest, the closest alligator to the canoe, if you will. But I loved the sight of airplanes flying, and I watched a few shuttle launches when I was a kid, and so to me, that was really just something that I dreamed about. I definitely dreamed about it when I was at RPI, and my whole life I just tried to keep that door open, the door to flying into space. So after RPI, I joined the Navy, I became a pilot, and then from there, it seemed like becoming a test pilot was, not only was it a lot of fun, but that was opening another door into the astronaut program. And then from there, just you just look back on your life at all these lucky little spots. And here I am, 250 miles up. We're going 18,000 miles an hour now, and it's just fantastic. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Hi, Reid. I'm Allie Woodford, the class of 93. It's such a privilege to be able to speak with you. With all the preparation and anticipation of going to the International Space Station, what have been the biggest surprises in settling in? You know, the good stuff and not so good stuff.
Oh, that's a great question. So you live your life always with gravity, and it doesn't matter how many years of training you go through to come up here into space, but as soon as they turn off the thrusters and you're floating, your entire world becomes something that you can't even imagine. All the food, so this is the good and the bad all together in one. All the food that's always settled in your stomach now floats in your stomach. When you swallow, the gravity that helped that food go down isn't there anymore. when you go to the bathroom, the gravity that helps you isn't there anymore. And it takes a couple weeks it really takes a couple weeks for your body to get over these feelings. And then come about the end of the first month, this was just natural. And I continue to get better every day up here. And the human body is an amazing machine. It's the best machine that we have, and it adapts incredibly quickly. And now this feels just like home. And I'm sure now when I go back in November, I will definitely miss weightlessness.
Okay, Reid, we have Sonia next from 2003.
Hi, Reid. Thank you for doing this for us. Really, this is exciting. I never thought I could do this. My question is about the spacewalk you did on Tuesday. I think we all want to know more about the assignment and how it went, and how did it feel to do a spacewalk?
So I think we only have 20 minutes, but maybe we should extend this for 3 or 4 hours. The spacewalk, that was an amazing experience. I went out, this is my first space flight, and it was my first spacewalk. And just behind the camera right now is my German crewmate, Alex Gerst, also his first space flight and his first spacewalk. So for us to go out together as 2 rookie first-time spacewalkers, that was huge for us. And I gotta be honest, I was pretty scared leading up to the spacewalk. But as soon as I opened the hatch and I looked down on our Earth, what I saw was we were over the ocean and the moon was really bright and it was kind of bouncing off the water. And everything just became really calm. And we went out there and we did our job. I wish I could say that it wasn't that way, but it was. It was great. It was exactly like training, except the gains were much, much higher. And so overall, our tasks were pretty simple. We had 3 major ones. We stowed a broken pump module that needed to be stored away for safekeeping. And then we rewired the robotic arm to give it some more capabilities. And then also, Alex, my crewmate, he replaced one of our lights on a television camera group so that we can have better lighting at night. And that sounds very simple. In the end, it was 6.5 hours of work, and my fingertips are still sore, my shoulders are still sore. So it's brutal, but it's amazing.
Thank you.
Reid, next up is Dave Haviland from the class of 64.
You can tell, Reid, it's our 50th, and we're pretty proud of it. Ever since astronauts went into space and started looking back at the Earth, it changed our whole view of Earth. You've been up there for a while. You go over constantly. We've seen some of your photos. What goes through your mind as you now, on a routine, everyday basis, look back at us here on Earth?
Oh, wow. That is just such a great question. It's such a deep question. And people always say they don't have words to describe it up here, and I really don't. All I can say is you look at our Earth, and the first day you're in space, you look in awe, because the atmosphere is just this deep blue, and it's so tiny. It's so impossibly tiny. And to think that all the folks down there, all the animals, everything is supported by that little band of blue, it takes your breath away. And then as you're up here for the end of your first week, you're used to these day-night cycles, and maybe you've seen some aurora in the north or the south, and you're just struck by the beauty. The beauty is it's just always there. No matter when you look outside, our Earth is beautiful. And then you start to see the impact of humans on Earth. You see farms, you see dams, you see all this stuff, and you know where the cities are. You can see airports, and those are your friends, your family, and so that's always neat to see. But what you start to realize after a month or 2 months, or now for me, almost 5 months up here, is that Earth is alive. It's really alive. I watched sands from the Sahara Desert get picked up and blown all the way across the Atlantic over into Brazil. We followed them all the way across. You can see the weather patterns changing. I saw a huge typhoon this morning. And so what it really reminds me is that we're all living creatures, and our planet is alive just like all of us. It's always changing, it's always throwing surprises, but without a doubt, it's always beautiful. Thank you.
Reid, next up is Kevin Dye. Hey Reid, this is amazing. So you are, of course, a pioneer and leader of space and space travel, but I think to many of us, you're also you represent one of the many distinguished Rensselaer alumni who have made a profound impact in the fields of science, technology, engineering, and math. So my question is, what advice do you have to offer to those of us who are looking to find that niche and, make our own impact on society?
Wow, that's a really good question. And the thing I didn't catch, I don't know if you can respond, is what class are you? I'll give you a second to respond.
2014, so 5 months ago I graduated.
All right, let me tell you, that's going to be a great day in your life, and then you're ready for the next big adventure. So the advice I would give is that you got one life to live. You really have one adventure to live, and if you ever wake up in the morning, and sure, there's going to be days where you wake up and you don't want to go to work, but if you wake up and you say, you know what, I'm an engineer and I've always wanted to be a writer, then try it. Take a plunge, do an experiment a little with your life, and if it doesn't work out, come back. But try to grow yourself at all times. And you're at Rensselaer right now, so you already took one gigantic leap in your life, and you threw yourself into a very uncomfortable situation at an extremely difficult engineering institute. And so I know you're capable of it, and I know your classmates are capable of it. So if you find yourself stagnant, if you find yourself bored, it's time to just take a little adjustment and follow your heart, follow that dream. And if it doesn't work out, you've got a great background that you can fall back on. But if you never reach out, if you never go a little bit past that point of comfort, you'll never know how far you can go. I think that's the best way I can say it.
Reid, I'm going to invite a member of our faculty, Dr. Cynthia Collins, who's in our School of Department of Chemical and Biological Engineering, to ask you a question. And she's done some research with NASA as well.
Hi, Reid. I want to first tell you that I'm a big fan of your Twitter feed, and I really appreciate how you share your experiences with us, and I think it's also getting a lot of people excited about space again. And so I was lucky enough to have experiments on 2 of the last Atlantis shuttle missions looking at microbes. And I know that you are a strong proponent of space and research and science and all of those links together and what we can do in the future. And so I would just like to know what it's like for you to do our experiments or experiments on the International Space Station, and what does that make you feel, and how do you feel your role and what the importance of that is in the future?
Oh, so I can start answering that with, I left RPI as an engineer, and then I became a Navy pilot. And so I'm really an operator, and I've never had the chance to be a functioning scientist or an engineer. And I always wanted to. I had that RPI education, and I've always wanted to do it. And the neat thing for me up here is whenever I flip a switch, and right now behind me, there's so much science going on. We have fish over here. I actually hung the Rensselaer banner up on this microscope that's looking at some experiments that we did earlier this week. But whenever we do anything, we are supported by people like you, a phenomenal ground team, and it's their experiment. It's their hardware. And I am really, just like when I fly a jet in the Navy, I'm an operator. So you tell me what to do, and I am the implementer. So I'm here to do it. The thing that I love about being up here is when I'm talking to these ground teams, and they're watching, we have cameras everywhere, and they're watching my every move, and I will do something, and I can hear them on the radio all go, whoa, that was unexpected. Do that again, that was unexpected. And here the space station's been flying for 15 years, and every time I do an experiment, I have almost the same reaction out of the ground team. Whether we're looking at fluids, flame research, our zebrafish, we have mice down there, we're doing T-cell work, so it doesn't matter. But anywhere we touch things in microgravity, the outcome is always just a little bit different, and that's what I love. I love that interaction with the team, and my favorite is when they go, oh, we didn't expect that. That's the best.
Hi, Reid. This is Janice again. I'm going to throw you a couple of softballs. Some of my classmates from 79 want to know whether you still drink Tang up there. And two, when you come back, where do you want to go on vacation?
Those are 2 great questions. So we have this I don't even have a water bag with me, but we have to drink everything out of a bag with a straw, and then written on the bag is what is inside, what type of sweetener. And so we have something called an orange drink, and I'm pretty sure there is Tang inside of it, but I think we can't say that it's Tang. Regardless, it's not very delicious, so I try to avoid that at all costs. And where am I going to go on vacation? I have two little kids. I've got a 6 and an 8-year-old, and we are going on a cruise with a certain mouse who lives in Florida. And I'll tell you, I cannot wait to hug those kids.
Okay, Allie, you're up next.
Hi again, Reid. So we hear a lot about space traffic and satellites in orbit, even about garbage in space. What should we know, and as the next generation, be prepared to do to preserve space in the future?
It's crowded up here, and it's a very good question. It's something that we need to look at seriously. We're totally protected from it. We have ground teams that are monitoring every little piece of space junk, and if we need to, we'll move the space station, and the ground teams will do that for us. Since I've been up here, we've done it 3 or 4 times, so it definitely occurs. I don't look out the windows and just see trash everywhere, because it's just such a vast area up here. But a lot of the testing that we've done many years before, military testing especially, anytime you blow something up here, now you get a lot of chunks of little pieces, and over time we get crowded. So I think down the road, we are definitely going to have to look at cleaning up this area, especially from where I am, 260 miles, and then you start going a little bit higher. At least from where we are, that stuff will generally come back in and re-enter the atmosphere. But you start getting a little bit higher, and there's nothing left to bring it back down, and that's really the big problem area.
Sonia?
Hello again. First, let's go Red. Best reunion ever. My question for you is, when you get up every morning, what do you look forward to?
I look forward to 2 things. First, we have found that there is this dehydrated granola that we absolutely love. So every 7 days, we get to open a new breakfast container, and everybody dives in there to get their granola out. And after 1 or 2 days, it's gone, and then we're stuck eating cornflakes and Cheerios. But that granola is our prized possession. So it just goes to show you, even when you're in space, it's that regular human cravings that you have that start to take over your mind. But really, the thing that we look forward to is I go down to what we call Node 3. And if I drop down under Node 3, we have the cupola, and it's 7 gigantic windows. Each window is about this big, and then in the center, there's a huge window about this big around. And the first thing we do in the morning is we open up those shutters, and we look down at our Earth. And it doesn't matter whether the sun is up or down, the stars are out, the aurora is there. It just doesn't matter. It's always awesome, and that's what we look forward to every morning.
Reid, it's Dave again. How, being in space and on your trip so far, how has your trip affected, or has it affected, your sense of priorities in education at places like RPI, the humanities, the sciences, all the parts and pieces? This is your chance to get to be, sorry, Dr. Jackson, a college president. And tell us what you would do.
Oh, there's no way I can fill those shoes, so take back that statement right now. But the thing is we're explorers. That's what humans do. I can't tell you in my life, I've never walked up to a hill and not wanted to go to the top of it and see what the view is like. And I think that's inside of all of us. I'm sure it's inside you. I'm sure it's inside everybody there watching right now. And so where we are as humanity, the only way we are going farther is with science, engineering, mathematics. These are the things that we need to propel us, to continue to propel us. And if you look around and say, oh, all the inventions have been made, there's nothing more, that's such baloney. I mean, now we have iPhones in our pockets, and I'm talking to you over a satellite link down at RPI for an alumni weekend, and we are just now starting to scratch the surface. And so we will use these tools, and it's just that exponential growth. And let's get ourselves out there. Let's see what's out there. Let's go investigate moons. Let's head to Saturn. Let's head to Jupiter. I want to see all that stuff. It might not be in my lifetime, but maybe in somebody in the audience right now, maybe they'll see this. Maybe they'll see a creature on a moon that we've never even dreamed could happen. And to me, that's the ultimate.
Okay, our last formal question, Reid.
So what you're doing up there looks truly amazing. So when can we expect us common folks to be able to travel up to space? Because I really want to do a backflip, and I probably can't do one down here.
No, I can't do them down there either, but I am getting very good at the front and back flips. It's great. So there's two answers to this question. You can try to become a professional astronaut, or you're at RPI, so I think this is an easy one. Just get filthy rich and buy your way up here.
Reid, this is Jeff Shantz. I just have to ask the pride question, because one of the big questions I got on Twitter was not one, but two astronauts representing RPI this last year. Do we have bragging rights across the entire university-wide system now?
Yeah, I think Purdue might argue with you, but right now, with Rick Mastracchio and myself coming up here, I would say for sure, there's no doubt in my mind, we've got bragging rights.
Before you go, we know you took some of your personal time to be with us. And I want to reiterate how proud we are of you. I also want to thank you for telling the whole of planet Earth what you really think of and how great your alma mater really is. Because we produce great people like you. My dad always told me to reach for the stars, and that is what you've done. Safe travels, Rick. We hope to see you soon in Troy. Take care.
Absolutely, I'll be there. I'll be there. Thank you.
Take care, Reid.
See you, Jeff, and thank you so much for setting this all up. Thanks to everybody out there, and have a great rest of the weekend.